This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shoshina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, Grand Bahamas Anchor Property could be getting ready to lock down in contract negotiations. The union presenting the line staff at the island Grand Lucayan Resort beginning vital initial talks with management of that hotel property today. Now, union leaders say they are seeking to deliver a sound collective bargaining agreement for members. Sabrina Brown has our top story.
President of the Trade Union Congress, Obi Ferguson, on island to meet with management of the Grand Lucayan Resort to discuss the industrial agreement for line staff, which expired about a year ago.
We will be meeting with Mr. Davis, the general manager, sometime today to make it abundantly clear that the pension of these workers, the health and welfare of the workers, and the aid, a fund set up for the workers, must be, and I repeat, must be continued. The figures must be transparent, and the officers of this union must have access to that information.
Ferguson says workers are being taken for granted in this country as many employers are not following the labor laws.
The proposal that we put to this hotel is for improvement. This hotel is running 101% occupancy today. And the likelihood is going to be this way for a reasonable period of time. Our industrial relations system in the Bahamas is antiquated. It is not designed, it's not worker friendly. It's not designed for the workers.
The union leader is adamant that Bahamians must stand together to strengthen the trade union movement. He says the TUC is working to bring about positive change.
All of the deficiencies that exist in the legislation, we have written the minister. We proposed to the minister some of those changes. For an example, you can't get your gratuity and redundancy pay. Something that you're in, you got to decide which one you're going to get. What kind of foolishness is that? You can't get your redundancy pay and gratuity if they let you go. You work for 28 years, they won't pay you 12 months.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Well, now to news from the court. The police department taking one of their own before the court today on sex-related charges. 41-year-old Corporal 220 Alexander Benaby, attached to the mobile division and a resident of number 194 Scott Avenue, was arraigned before Magistrate Rengen Johnson this afternoon on 2 counts of unlawful sexual intercourse with a dependent. Corporal Benaby was represented by attorney Wendell Smith. He pled not guilty to the charge and he elected a summary trial and remanded to Her Majesty's Prison in New Providence. Now, it is understood that Corporal 220 Benaby is currently on his way to New Providence, where he is expected to meet with leaders of the police force and then be terminated. Corporal Alexander Benaby will return to court on July 28th at 10 a.m. Meantime, a business establishment on East Mall Drive, Freeport, robbed at gunpoint over the weekend. Police tell us that around 10 p.m. Friday, 5 men, all wearing dark clothing, masked and armed with a firearm, reportedly held up and robbed the patrons of cash, jewelry, and cell phones before making good their escape. Now, if you have any information that can help police with this investigation, you should call 350-3106 through 12-911-919 or call your nearest police station. And 15 Cuban men picked up by the United States Coast Guard in Bahamian waters. The group was found on board a wooden boat near Key Sal on Friday evening. The Cubans say they left Cuba on Thursday and they were en route to Florida, where they were intercepted. The illegal immigrants were turned over to the Bahamas Immigration Department and transported to the detention center in New Providence on Saturday, along with a Jamaican man. In other news, the government has embarked on a multi-million-dollar infrastructural program on the island of Abaco, and it involves a massive road improvement initiative. Joan Davis-Roll fills us in.
The government has begun to pave the way for a higher standard of living for residents on the island of Abaco. For years, communities there have been plagued with substandard road conditions, and now relief has come. Member of Parliament for North Abaco and Parliamentary Secretary in Office of the Prime Minister, Renato Curry, says this major undertaking has already begun to positively impact the island of Abaco.
Infrastructural work has always been one of our top priorities. We're in the process now of doing some roadworks in the central Abaco area. Our first phase would have been from the airport throughout the Marsh Harbor area, and now we're looking at doing some additional works throughout Dundas and Murphytown.
A New Providence-based company, Bill Simmons Construction Company Limited, has been awarded the contract for the massive project. Company director Ricardo Simmons says the scope of work is extensive.
From the exit of the airport, entrance exit, the roundabout, went into downtown Marsh Harbor, into the crossing area with paving and striping, pedestrian crossing in front of the schools, and now we're in Dundas and Murphytown, completed the back road, and now we're on Forest Drive, which is the main roads we're doing, and hopefully next week, next 2 weeks, we'll be doing side corners.
The government agency overseeing the work is the Ministry of Works. Senior Inspector Fillmore Poitier says the multi-million-dollar project is on schedule.
My role for the Ministry of Works is to make sure that the work is done to our specification standard and to make sure that Bill Simmons is going by our specs. Asphalt work is specs, so we have about, say, 6 to 7 miles of road to be done, and we have a time frame that Bill Simmons have to come. Well, with the inclement weather sometimes we have down here, and knowing that we're using asphalt plant, sometimes you will get a delay. But as long as the plant is up and running, we have a time frame. It doesn't take us no less than but 4 to 5 months to pave some of the roads. So with the time span we asked Mr. Simmons to give us, he's on schedule.
What's the costing?
Roughly $6 million, roughly in that area.
The multi-million-dollar road redevelopment here on the island of Abaco is designed to improve the overall standard of living for Abaconians. In Abaco, reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Joan Davis-Roll.
A cyclist struck and killed over on the island of Abaco. Police tell us the 49-year-old man, a resident of Pigeon P, was riding a bicycle north on Don McKay Boulevard around 9 o'clock Friday night when he was struck by a vehicle that did not stop at the scene. EMS personnel were called to the scene, and the victim was transported to the Marsh Harbor Clinic, where he was pronounced dead by doctors. Now, police later arrested a 26-year-old man of Central Pines and recovered a silver 2000 Buick Century vehicle believed to have been involved in the fatal accident. Investigations continue. And police have now confirmed that the male resident accused of discharging a firearm at officers in the area of the Mud last week is not a juvenile. The young man was arraigned before the court in Marsh Harbor today, but there was some controversy surrounding his age. Police say they now have determined that Jason Delholm is 18 years old and not 17 as initially thought. Jason appeared before Magistrate Ansela Evans Williams on charges of attempted murder and possession of a firearm with the intent to endanger life. He was not allowed to enter a plea, and a preliminary inquiry into this matter will be held on June 8th, and he was remanded in custody until that time. Now, as we mentioned earlier, he is accused of discharging a firearm at police in the area of the Pigeon P last Thursday. In court today, Delholm was also arraigned on housebreaking charges, and he pleaded guilty. He was remanded on that matter as well. That matter will come up for sentencing on May 8th. A 36-year-old Bimini woman is assisting police with investigations into a stabbing incident on that island. Reports say police received information that a male and female, both of Porgy Bay, were involved in an altercation around 2 o'clock on Saturday morning when the female reportedly stabbed the male with a knife to the upper chest area. The man's injuries are listed as serious. He was taken to the Bimini clinic and later airlifted for further medical attention. The female was taken into police custody. Investigations are continuing. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, will continue in just a moment.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Minister of National Security delivering a sobering address to young men attending the Falcons Boys Conference on Grand Bahama this weekend. The overall message is steer clear of crime and become productive leaders of tomorrow. Italia Hall was there.
The Falcons Boys Club, which was established some 18 years ago, continues to flourish. The mentoring program caters to boys from grades 1 through 12, and on Saturday a conference was held and many boys and young men flooded the room. The Minister of National Security, the Honorable Dr. Bernard Nottage, was the guest speaker, and he says crime is a serious issue in the country and community support is needed to put an end to this epidemic.
If I was a preacher now, I'd try to have an altar call and see if we could get enough of us to agree that we got to find ways to redirect the path of many of our young people and help them to help themselves to be good citizens. It may sound difficult, but I don't think that it is. I think if we make up our minds, it's nothing like as powerful as a mind made up. And if we make up our minds, I believe we can do it.
MP for East Grand Bahama Peter Turnquest also giving support to the youth program.
Darren, I've always said to you, the work that you're doing here is more valuable than any politician, more valuable than any CEO, and more valuable than a lot of things and people that we celebrate in this country. You are affecting young lives, young men in particular, and I can tell you, we need more of you.
Director of the Falcons Club, Darren Roll, says he is thankful for the continued support from the community and the program will not stop here. Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
A local printing company that opened its doors several months ago is focusing on youth development. Tonight, Sabrina Brown tells us that a fun contest has been launched and young people stand to benefit greatly.
The Copier Limited and T-Swag are looking for the next top t-shirt designer. The company has launched its first t-shirt design competition for young people between the ages of 13 and 25, which will run through the end of May. President of the Copier Limited, Iram Lewis, is excited about the opportunity to sow into the lives of the nation's youth.
The participants will be required to create a t-shirt design centered around the Bahamas independence and submit the entries to the Copier Limited right here at number 10 Lucaya Shopping Center next door to BTC. Participants are allowed to submit up to 3 designs if they so desire.
Lewis says the design contest will provide the young people with an opportunity of a lifetime.
The 20th of June, which is our first year anniversary, we're going to have a grand finale here at the Copier Limited. We're going to have prizes, we're going to have giveaways, we're going to have make it a party atmosphere, and the highlight of that evening is going to be a fashion show, and we will be highlighting T-Swag t-shirts, and of course the winning designs will be the showstopper. So we're going to have, at the end of the day, these t-shirts, these designs being promoted throughout the land and bread, starting in Grand Bahama, but throughout the land and bread of the Bahamas.
Youth leader Dudley Said of Reach Out Ministries commended the Copier Limited for providing such a positive initiative for young people.
I'm making an appeal to all pastors to buy into this, because this is something good. A lot of times we always try sports, but now we're trying a different avenue to attract the youth from into positive activities. I'm excited about it. My group, Reach Out Ministry, will be a huge part of it.
Athletic coach Ravano Ferguson also endorses the program.
This is a very excellent undertaking, what he's doing for the youth of Grand Bahama. Everybody's not athletic, like stated by Mr. Said. So we have some people that are very good with graphics, design, artwork, photography, and all these are different ventures that we have not yet tapped into in our youth, in our nation building skills. I think this undertaking definitely will surprise you with all the artwork that will come across your desk.
Said and Ferguson say they want to use some of the designs for their various programs. In addition to cash and other fun prizes, the top 2 winners will also get an opportunity to work at the Copier Limited and T-Swag for the summer. Applications are available at the store at number 10 Lucaya Shopping Plaza next to BTC. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
And now to our nightly feature, Ask the Doctor with Dr. Monique Pratt.
I'm Dr. Monique Pratt. CP from Freeport asks, can men get breast cancer too? Thanks for your great question, CP. And the answer is yes, men can develop breast cancer. Even though men do not have large breasts like women, they still have small amounts of breast tissue, very similar to girls before they go through puberty. And because of this, they can develop breast cancer. It usually occurs after age 60. Men are at a higher risk if they have a breast cancer in a close family relative, history of radiation exposure of the chest, breast enlargement called gynecomastia, taking estrogen, severe liver disease called cirrhosis, or diseases or injury of the testicles. Because men rarely go through screening for breast cancer, unfortunately, they are usually diagnosed at a later stage than women. Men experience the same symptoms as women, such as a lump in the chest area or bleeding from the nipple. If you are male and detect a lump in your breast or experience any bleeding or discharge from your nipple, please see a doctor immediately. Do you have a question or just concerned about your health? Please post it on PHA Bahamas on Facebook, email askthedrbahamas@gmail.com, or drop it in my question box at any of our community clinics. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Stay with us. Ricardo Liborn has a check on sports when we return.
Welcome to sports, everybody. I'm Ricardo Liborn here at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium for the IAAF PTC World Relays Bahamas 2015. It's going to be a wonderful event. Some 48 countries coming to compete this year, and they started coming here already. But in Grand Bahama, let me tell you, baseball, as the Little Leaguers are getting some much-needed financial help. Who was giving the money out? Hutchison. It's going to be a good one. Hutchison Port Holding Bahamas made a donation to the Grand Bahama Amateur Baseball Association, Grand Bahama Little League, and Legacy Baseball. Hutchison Port Holdings congratulated the baseball organization for actually lending their support as baseball provides discipline, teamwork, and necessary to prepare these young people for life ahead. Carl Nard said the assistance will go a long way in equipping the teams.
The contribution to the league has been very successful for us. We've been here now, and we've been watching the kids grow from ages 4 and all the way up to 18. They pass through the league. Successfully, we've had kids that has went off to high school and into colleges, got college scholarships. And our most recent success was 2 of our players that was actually drafted by the Cincinnati Reds.
Legacy Baseball President Roscoe Kemp said the support is timely and Legacy is grateful.
The donation given to us by Hutchison has helped us a whole lot, in that it assists us in purchasing equipment. It also is going to assist us in traveling to tournament play. We have a 9-10 tournament coming up in about 2 weeks over in Abaco, and it also helps us to take care of the equipment that is needed for the tournament.
President of Grand Bahama Little League, Stephen Adley, says the game is growing and they are seeing some light at the end of the tunnel.
Going into the last weekend of the season, we're not even sure in a couple of our divisions who's going to finish first, and we may even have to have some playoff games just to decide first place in many divisions. So it's been very competitive, and we look forward to an exciting postseason and then tournament season during June, July, and August.
Hutchison Holding going the distance for Little League Baseball on Grand Bahama. Now let's go to Little League Baseball from the weekend. The Freeport Container Port Buccaneers over the Borco Bucks 21-10 in coach pitch. Minor league play, the Pelican Bay Flyers outscored the Churchill and Jones Bucks 11-1. And get this, in the majors game, the Pelican Bay Flyers, they blasted the MSC Skippers 21-11. I tell you, a good game in the big league division. Statoil over the FES Construction Lions 7-1. Those kids are all having some fun. The bottom line now is that the relays is only some 5 days away and counting. Folks are coming in town. It is going to be a circus atmosphere here at the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. If you're coming, come early, but still come and enjoy what's going to be one of the best events of the year right here in the nation's capital. Let's look at your sports on a Monday.